welcome to my workshop. We are doing an AMA today. I asked for questions from y'all and got some good ones, got some weird ones. Weird ones are also good. So I'm excited to chat with you. This is going to be long and pretty chatty, so I'd love if you maybe put me on while you're crafting. That would be so cool. I'm desperate for crafting buddies, so if I can be your crafting buddy, that would make me feel happy. Also, I'm sitting on the floor right next to my open workshop door, so I'm kind of excited to see if we can get any kitties here joining us. There's one right over there that I'm hoping I can entice just by sitting on the floor and pretending I don't want to hang out with her. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so let's get started. The first question I got several variations of from Ninja Sylveon, Winter Star Cosplay, and KWR Designs. And that was basically, how did you get into cosplay, or how did I start learning cosplay? I got into cosplay because I really needed an artistic outlet. I had kind of dabbled in like a couple different like polymer clay sculpting and making doll clothing and just different little artistic things, and felt really fulfilled whenever I did something, but none of those felt right, you know? So making cosplay, my first cosplay was just another attempt at like finding the artsy fartsy thing for me so that I could fill that hole that I had in my life. So right away I was interested in making armor, and I actually learned how to make armor from the Punish Props Learn. It's Ruby. Hi goodbye Ruby. Okay. Not an exciting cat event yet. So I actually learned like intro to foamsmithing from the Punish Props Foamsmithing 1 book, which I would highly recommend for sure. Either the book or their YouTube channel or Kamui's. But and so my first cosplay was, it had a couple pieces of foamsmithing. It's Ruby again. Hi Ruby. Bye Ruby. But it was mostly put together from bought pieces and learning how to sew pieces. But that's actually how I would recommend anyone get into cosplay, is if you can, choose a costume which is mostly thrifted or bought, purchased in some sort, or already existing pieces, and then a couple of pieces which are created by you, so maybe one sewn thing and one foamsmith thing. That makes it a lot less intimidating to actually finish the project, but it still does introduce you to, oh, hi baby! Hi, can you come over here? Come over here. Yay! Hi Tabby! Tabby! So you can actually finish your project, but you can also, you know, start learning how to actually make the stuff too, if that's what you're interested in doing. Are you a good girl? Yeah. Yeah, I love you. Okay, next question. Synergy Craft asked, what do you find most challenging about cosplay crafting? I think the thing that's most challenging about cosplay is the thing that's most challenging about all art, and that is the ugly phase. When you are happy with, for example, a foamsmith piece, and then maybe you put the first base layer of paint on and it just looks like utter poop, that is so discouraging and so hard to push past. And it's really tough, you know, to like see something you thought you were happy with looking bad, like bad enough that you just want to give up. So I mean, luckily it's something you can definitely like learn how to recognize and learn how to get past on your own. but it definitely took me years to be able to tell the difference between an ugly face and a piece that really just wasn't working. And I still definitely have to ask Zeke sometimes, like, is this actually bad, or is it just in a bad stage right now, you know? So yeah, I hate that part of making art and of making cosplay, and I wish it didn't exist, but art's hard, man. It's hard. Paul Buck 7D says, if you could have any superpower, what would it be and why? My superpower wants definitely flip-flop around depending on the state of how I'm feeling and how the universe is. I think right now I would want it to be healing. It would make the world a lot easier to live in right now. Ask me that again in a few years after we're past 2020. Paul also asked, what is your favorite con? My favorite con is Cleveland Concoction, which is in Cleveland, Ohio. It's a pretty small con. I think it's like 600 people. And it's small enough that you know a lot of the, like, you'll walk down the hallway and just know a lot of the people that you see. The same vendors come back year after year, and like we know the people who run the con, and we can volunteer for the con, and it's just like, it's a lot of great content, but it's also small enough that you can make actual friends who, you know, you're excited to see. And I'm gonna have a lot of really big costumes to take to Concoction the next time we go. I also really love Gen Con. That's definitely my favorite big con. We're really into board games, and oh gosh, that vendor hall is just absolute heaven. Paul, who is the hero of this AMA, also asked, how many hours a day do you tend to spend making cosplays? If you include the time that I spend on like social media, like working on tutorials and taking work in progress photos and stuff, it's probably around 2 hours a day. I do spend a lot of time on my tutorials, so if you took that out, it would maybe be more like 1.5 hours a day. I mean, this is definitely my hobby. I have a day job and I have other hobbies too, so it's, you know, I'm definitely not doing this full time, and I'm lucky in that I do work fairly quickly. So of course I say that having only finished one costume this year, so yeah, I can make progress every week and I feel very grateful for that, but I definitely don't devote like a ton of time to it. 2 hours a day feels like a privilege for sure, and it feels like enough to get a lot done. Last question from Paul, thank you so much. How do you overcome failure? Yeah, I don't really know. I guess having a good therapist is a good answer. Having a good partner, a good and supportive partner who knows what your failure looks like and how to catch you from it, I guess. I also, you know, I am extremely goal-oriented, and if any of y'all are goal-oriented too, I'd encourage you to see that as a kind of a way to keep yourself going. Like, you know, I know I've talked about the sleeves on Draven before, but I spent so much time, probably 50 hours of time sewing, ripping out seams, cutting fabric over and over and over for these sleeves that are like mostly covered by the bracers. But I had a vision for them, and I really wanted to get them done. You know, I had a goal. This is going to be a big step up for me in terms of competing, and I want it to be really beautiful and special. And ultimately I couldn't get them to work. The sleeves on my costume are basic tubes. My vision was a failure. And you know, with cosplay, it's such an opportunity for growth as an artist, as a craftsperson, as a resilient human. You know, you have to know so many skills, you have to get good at so many skills, and in order to get good at something, you have to be bad at something first, right? So I don't know what my point is. I think that cosplay has been good for me personally, as someone who likes to be great at things, to learn how to be bad at things, and realize that being bad at things is just the first step at practicing, and that practicing is the next step to being great at something. I'm rambling. Failure is hard. I don't have a way to deal with it except to see it as the opportunity it is to practice, to realize what you need more practice in, and to grow as an artist and as a human. Thanks, Paul, you made it deep. Okay, Willow Makes asked for good ways to get affordable supplies when you're beginning. If you have a Harbor Freight, I don't know where they are. I know they're here in the Midwest of the US. Harbor Freight has so many of the supplies that we use as cosplayers for really cheap. So a rotary tool, a heat gun, floor mats, the thinner, not craft foam, but like rolls of floor mats, drills, like so many of the equipment and supplies that you need, you can get there for like super cheap. And that's my recommendation, is to find somewhere local to you where you can get kind of crappy supplies for a really low price. And then if they work and they, hi Tabby, and then if they work and if they live for a long time, then good for you. You got a good piece of equipment for cheap. And if they break, then you use this thing like this. Thanks, Tab. And if they break, then you know that you use this thing and you like this thing, and you can buy an upgrade from, an actual nice brand or something. But I still recommend Harbor Freight's foam. It's like the cheapest foam you can possibly get, but if you're making something that's going to be battle damaged anyway, it works really, really awesome, and I still use it. Yeah, I think just being thrifty in general is a good way to go. But buying cheap tools when you're first starting out, that's like my #1 tip. And I definitely recommend looking into Harbor Freight or whatever your local equivalent is. Food Penguin asked, what is your favorite style of barbecue or favorite mac and cheese? Okay, this is a lame answer because I am a vegetarian and don't like fake meat, so I'm not into barbecue really at all, despite the costume sitting right next to me. This is Barbecue Leona. But my mom had the most basic but perfect mac and cheese recipe, which I took, and it's one of the only things that I can cook. It's noodles, Velveeta, and milk. I use fake milk now, but it's so perfect, it's so simple, It's great from the microwave, so you can make a really big batch. And yeah, it's lame, but I adore it. It's an absolute comfort food for me. Peachy Keen asked, what will 2021 be the year of? So if you don't know, I have these yearly themes. So 2018 was Hammer, Year of the Hammer. 2019 was Shield, Year of the Shield. 2020 is, I forget the hashtag, it's Year of Wildly Unrealistic Weapons or something like that. So it's like the Draven axes and the hot dog fork, just completely ridiculous designs basically. So for 2021, I don't know yet. I only have one costume on my probably list, and he doesn't have a prop. So I don't know. Is there anything that I've really wanted to make that I could just like set a goal that I'm gonna make a couple of them next year? I would like to start noodling goals for 2021 since my 2020 costumes are almost done. So I don't have an answer for you, Peachy Keen, but I really appreciate the prompt, and I'm gonna work on it. Okay, I have some questions from Clay now, who also submitted multiples. So the first one is, what's your favorite game on the market right now? Video games, my favorite video game right now is Teamfight Tactics. I absolutely love it. It plays to my strengths of like non-twitchy, like more tactical, knowledge-based strategy, as opposed to League of Legends, which I'm very bad at. And of course I love the universe, like seeing these characters that I love fighting their battles for me is really fun. For board games, what's my favorite board game right now? We just got Calico, which is by Flat Out Games, and it's a game about making a quilt and then enticing cats to come lay on it. And you get points for the pattern of your quilt and how many cats come to be on your quilt. It's really, really sweet. All of the cats in the game are real cats, and they have little bios in the rule book. And like the components are just really beautiful. I really love Calico. So, and that just came out. So I would really recommend seeing if your LGS has that you can try, or at least like look at the artwork and see if that is up your alley. I'd really recommend that one. It's really fun, and it's just so like, it's just so sweet, you know? It's just like a really nice, sweet experience to play that game. So Clay also asked, what tools do you think are essential for a new cosplayer? For a foamsmith, actually the only tools that I would say are absolutely essential are a box cutter and protective gear, like a face mask and goggles or glasses. Other than that, everything else is either optional or there's an alternative that you can use until you want to upgrade. I would say that contact cement is going to make your life a lot easier, and if you can, you know, spare the 10 bucks for a small can of contact cement, I would definitely recommend using that over super glue when you first start. You're just gonna get like so much nicer results that I think it's worth going straight to the good stuff from the very beginning. Clay also asked, do you ever feel yourself drawn to certain color palettes when you're creating a design? Any favorite colors that you like working with? My first instinct is to say no. I'm not drawn to certain colors when I design, but I have used gold lame which I detest, so many times that I think I must be drawn to gold. And now I'm thinking of like my Zelda, which is a whole suit of gold armor. So yeah, I think when you think of armor, you think of like silver metal, but a lot of my stuff ends up being gold. So maybe it's gold. I'm gonna have to pay attention to that. And then Clay's final question is, how much would you spend on the initial tool set? If you're going to get all of the starting stuff, including like a heat gun and maybe a really cheap rotary tool and maybe some plasti dip and a straight edge, definitely it's going to be under $100. I think that's something really nice about foam smithing, is that you can find this stuff for pretty inexpensive prices, and the barrier to entry is pretty low. I mean, that's one thing I love about foam too, is that besides the fact that it's a waste, which that's a whole nother discussion, foam is so cheap that if you mess it up, you can just throw it away and start over again. It's not even like buying new fabric, you know, which is way more expensive, I find. So my final question is from Babo, and this is a great question. The question is, what is your favorite letter of any alphabet? And I think my favorite letter is A. That's the first letter of my name. I also like the letter Z because that is my husband's nickname, Z. I also, like, my mind went straight to the Alethi alphabet, which is the script used in Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive book series. It is really pretty and dramatic, and it looks completely unreadable. So it's fun. The amount of world building and fantasy. Hi. Oh, okay. Okay, Ruby? Yeah, you wanna come over here? Oh, boo-boo. Alright. Goodbye. Yeah. Oh, okay. Thanks for visiting. Yeah. So hey, that's the AMA. I hope you learned some stuff. I learned some stuff. I got to talk through some stuff. So this was fun. I hope you had a good time. I had a good time. And thank you for watching. Do the things. Like me on Instagram if you don't already. Follow me on YouTube if you don't already. Have a wonderful day. See ya.